If we could beam a few electrons in there, it'd stabilize it, but it's not like we have a
particle accelerator? That'd be like using a shotgun for a haircut.
Hell of a haircut.
Alright, people. Welcome back to the Softlock Podcast. We're back after a long, long hiatus. At least it feels that way. I'm Jake, one of your hosts. That's Jonathan, another one of your hosts. And today we're talking about video games. Jonathan, how you doing today?
Dude, the last time we did an episode, between the last episode and this episode, the Oblivion remaster / remake went from just an urban legend that like one dude was saying that was gonna happen to being completely real and released, and like 1 million people are playing it.
I don't know. I think that one dude must have had... He was like the guy at the end of Horton Hears a Who, because I feel like everyone knew that this game was coming out eventually.
Grinch
It's just a matter of when.
Grinch leak.
The Grinch leak.
Remember the Grinch leak?
I remember the Grinch leak.
I think about the Grinch leak a lot because it was like, how was it like mostly wrong? And then it was like dead spot on. I don't know, man. It was so correct.
It was so
but it was
convincing.
mostly wrong. And for some reason, it had to do with the Grinch.
We all believed that Isaac was going to be in Smash Bros. Before, Ken.
Sora. It was that was a weird time. This is why we should not have expectations, because whenever gamers have expectations, we're always like thinking of like the craziest shit, and then the actual like realistic option comes out and we're like, oh yeah, this is probably much better. You see that whole, like Fatal Fury? Fatal Fury had Ronaldo, and now they have like Salvatore Ganacci or some shit like that.
What the fuck?
Everyone was really upset. And now, like, everyone's kind of like, okay, hold on, I'm back. And now people are like,
I read about that. It's because he's like apparently like a Mr. Bean type. Like he has a character in all his music videos, and that's the character.
Yeah, which I guess is like, it's fine. I never had a horse in the race, so I just think it's really funny. I just like seeing like the drama, but basically, a lot has happened in the last episode. A lot has happened between this episode and the last episode. The Pope is gone. Crabs dancing. No, they're gonna elect the new Pope at some point. I have no idea. It's called the Papacy. Not a very good name. Definitely reminds me of Pap smear. But we will have a new Pope at some point. I didn't even know he was sick. I was like,
it was pretty quick.
Yeah, it was very quick. I like woke up one day and he was just like, that was it. And I was like talking to my mom. I was like, you see what happened to Pope Francis? And she's like, oh yeah, he was sick for a while. And I was like, when? That's news to me. So
wasn't that movie Conclave? Isn't that about picking a new pope?
I did hear about that. I did hear about how Conclave was like. I saw some post about that being like, oh man, it's a good thing I studied Conclave. Now I know what's gonna happen next. Yeah, right. It's crazy.
Yeah, a lot has happened, and actually, I'm looking at our channel right now. Our last episode was the Monster Hunter episode, which did fantastically, by the way. Thank you everyone for the support.
Yeah.
But before that, we did the Playdate, which means we haven't done a review episode since February.
Yep.
And even that one, I feel like we did it at the beginning of February. So it's been a long time.
I think we needed it, though. Because you've been booked solid. You've been booked solid.
Yeah, definitely. I was working like 80 hours a week, so I wouldn't have even had time to edit. The Monster Hunter episode was a miracle. We were able to get it out when we did, and also play as much Monster Hunter as we did. So I'm thankful, but my numbers, I need to get my numbers up. I've only finished, I think, 6 games this year. Last year at this time, I finished like 12.
Yeah. The numbers are low, I gotta say. I've also been pretty busy. Clearly not as busy as Jake, but I've also been lagging behind. Have not been finishing that many things. I do still have reviews. for everyone today. But you know what it is? We're picking lots of at least I'm picking lots of long games. The games I get the most excited for are like the long investing RPGs, and if you only play those, you tend not to play other games as much.
Yeah,
that just happens.
I'm kind of in the same boat. This year seems to be like it's going to be an RPG year for me because I'm already kind of deep into a few of them, and then I just picked up Thousand Year Door for Switch and Xenoblade X. So I got some beefy games ahead of me.
Thousand Year Door you can probably get through in like less than like below 20 hours for sure. Xenoblade X,
but if
though,
I play if I play an RPG, even if it is a Mario RPG, I want to do everything. So I feel like it'll take me a while.
Yeah. I don't think you will.
Also,
but you could try.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what's all involved. I've never played Thousand Year Door, so.
I was also like, I'm gonna do everything, and then I found out what I had to do everything, and I said, nah, never mind.
So, pro tip for you and for the audience, that I found out that the used Nintendo game, first-party Nintendo game market in Japan is not fucked up like it is in America. So, you can get a used copy of pretty much any Mario game, any Switch game that's come out in like the last 5 years for like $30 and then import it here. And it has English on the cart and the Switch is region free. So I've been doing that. I bought Pikmin 4, Thousand Year Door, and something else, and I've spent like $90 total.
Wait, really? Switch is not region locked?
I believe you might have to make a separate profile and then set your region as Japanese, but still, as long as you're not planning to use like the online features or whatever, it doesn't really matter.
Right. I remember when people jailbroke their Switch to play Smash early, and they did that, like, do you remember that?
Well, I remember you could set up just a New Zealand account and do it. I don't know if they jailbroke it, did they?
I'm talking about like a week before Smash Ultimate came out.
I don't know about that.
Oh man, I might have to do some research on this. A week before Smash Ultimate came out, I had a friend who jailbroke their Switch, and they had to like take apart their console. It was some of the most convoluted.
Yeah, there's like a little pin in the Joy-Con rail.
Yes.
I have a little thing allegedly I have a little plastic thing that sticks in there. It's a bizarre process.
It is a really, really bizarre process, and I was like, why do you have to get the Joy-Con? Like, you gotta like take a little, pencil into your Joy-Con at a very specific angle or something like that. I was like, that is ridiculous.
Surprisingly easy back then. I'm sure it's not as easy anymore, but
yeah. I'm too stupid for when I was younger, I couldn't even figure out emulation. All my save files would vanish, and so I just don't. I haven't done anything like that in over like 15 years. I don't even mess with that stuff anymore. I'm too stupid for it, genuinely.
Me too. I always spend so much time setting it up that I just don't want to play the game anymore.
Yeah, it's just like, man, I don't, and then you're just like, yeah, do I really, did I want to play Super Paper Mario on my computer? Not really.
Yeah, sometimes you don't have any other choice though. That's what I use it for, is like a game that I really can't get anywhere else. But I have so many other games to play that I'm not messing around with.
Yeah, I don't have that lust anymore. I'm just like, I'm like, I don't need you. You're not.
We also have disposable income now, so that makes it a little easier.
That's true. I have just a smidge after the rent and the bills. I got that little sliver of change in my pocket, and I see those sales, and I just my lips start salivating. And I'm like, whoa.
Oh man, I've been buying way too many games, and I don't have any time to play them. But hopefully by the end of this year, I'm gonna make a dent in my backlog, and I kind of want to have an episode towards the end of the year about like what we got on the backlog, because I think it's kind of interesting to hear people's. This sounds so fucking nerdy and stupid, but people's strategy for getting through their backlog of like games or movies or whatever. Yeah. For some reason, I really like that.
Yeah. My backlog has been like the same backlog for like 4 years at this point. I just keep pushing off the games I want to play. Except one game that I have wanted to play for a long, long time is Oblivion, and it just took one. It took the leak. It took the remake remaster being real for me to actually start playing Oblivion. So I think that's going to be our next episode, is talking about the Elder Scrolls, but like we're not going to talk about Oblivion too.
Yeah, I think it'll be an Oblivion 2025 Oblivion review with some Skyrim and Morrowind sprinkled in there.
Yes,
it's pretty much what we're going to do.
But you're playing the 2025 Oblivion. I'm playing the 2008 Oblivion.
Yeah, and so far, let me tell you, not that much of a difference.
there really isn't, but oh man, that game looks so good. I clown on the Unreal Engine 5 because it's funny. You know, Mario and Unreal Engine 5. And I think Oblivion does have it to a certain extent. Where you're like, this is like hyper real. Like this is trying to be so, like, look so real that it doesn't look real anymore. I think Oblivion Remake does kind of look like that. But it still looks really good. Especially what I've seen, the scenery and the outside locales. It looks gorgeous.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I want to try and get some side-by-sides and learn a little bit more about the tech for that episode, but just a little teaser for you. They did not do much to touch up the facial animations, so while they may look hyper-real when they're standing still, when the characters start talking, it is disturbing a lot of the time.
Just like it was back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
You're in
All right,
Sean
that'll be
Bean.
for next time.
Yeah.
Let's talk about... Oh my god, it is Sean Bean.
Let's talk about
some games we've been playing. I want you to start off, Jonathan. What is a review that you have for us today?
Is Downwell an all-timer for you? Yes or no?
I've never played Downwell.
That is so surprising. I thought Downwell was like one of those games that everyone has, and I'm now like coming to understand that Downwell is actually just the slightest bit obscure. But to me, like I'm looking at my Steam page right now, and I know no one else who owns Downwell. And to me, Downwell is like an indie all-timer, like a game, like an indie game that I think everyone needs to own and play.
So I have never played Downwell, but I do have it, and I think maybe not everyone has it. I think everyone knows about it because it's always on super sale.
And you don't
it's always
even
on the front of the store.
You don't even need to get it on a super sale because the game itself already is like $3.
Yeah.
And it is just so goddamn good for $3. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. $3.
Yeah. Is it okay? Quick question for you. Because I would love to provide something to this rather than just I don't know what this thing is. So I have it on Switch. Is it a game I could play and relax, or is this like an intense platformer?
So, I actually purchased it on Switch as well, because I had like gold points or something like that. So I purchased it on Switch for like completely free.
Yeah, which are expiring, by the way. People, use your gold points now.
Yeah, use them now. And so I redeemed them all, and that's took my Downwell playing from a normal level to like I 100% of the game, every achievement, everything I can get, all the unlocks in just a couple days because I just kept playing it because it was so like it just feels so good. Is it hard? It is slightly difficult. I think if you use a controller, then you're fine. But yeah, it can be. I don't think it's too intense.
Okay, because I don't know. I know it's like a reverse platformer is how they call it, right? So it just seems like something that would stress me out.
A reverse platformer because you go down. It go down.
It go down.
It do go down.
So what do you do? What do you do in Downwell? You go down.
So yes, in Downwell you play as a little guy, and you have shoes that shoot bullets, and you go down. You go down the well. And that is what you do. And then there is enemies. So and they're all. It's a very narrow well. You're down the well, and below you are the enemies. You can stomp on them, and you can also use your gun boots to take out enemies. Some enemies you cannot stomp on. Some enemies you need to shoot. Lots of different, like a handful of different weapons to use, like guns to use for your gun boots. upgrades. Every floor you get past, you get an upgrade, which is like your roguelike aspect of it. And 4 different areas to go through. And it's just a good time. It's a big part of it is getting like combos and just like trying to go down the well in a perfect just like stomp, kill. Every time you stomp, the charge in your gun boots recharges. So you kind of it's just extremely satisfying. It's a very, very satisfying game. It's not a game that you really have to think that much. It's not a game where you have to commit that much or try that hard. It just feels good to get like wicked combos jumping down the well, and then you're like stomp, kill, recharge, go into a side room, get a ton of gems, stomp, kill. It just keeps going, and it just feels so good. The sound effects are very punchy. When Mario steps on a Goomba, and it has that like that clop sound, like the old Goomba clop sound effect. Like it literally sounds like a clunk, That's what it feels like every time you step on an enemy in this game. So you just want to like just keep landing on enemies, and it's just a ton of fun. Very simple.
Sounds fun. This is a Devolver game, right?
It is a Devolver game. Yeah, it's made by some like
makes sense.
Guy. I don't remember his name, but it says it. I've seen it a lot because every time you beat the game, it says like made by this guy, and you do have to go through the credits every time you beat the game. But you're probably not going to be beating the game that much, unless you're getting the achievements, because it's not like a game where the only thing you actually unlock between runs is you get 4 styles, and you unlock them all fairly easy. The styles are just like, the normal style is just the game is in its vanilla form, and then there's like a boulder style where you do like somersaults in the air and you just like roll around. And you have 6 HP, so you have 2 extra HP, but you get only 2 choices of an upgrade instead of 3 choices of an upgrade at the end. So just, your options are limited at the end of every level. And then there's like, floaty style, which makes you just floatier. There's like arm spin style, where your character spins his arms, and I think it's like you just get weapon modules. Like you just get different weapon modules, and like shops and other like special areas with like extra gems won't appear. So you just get like swapping weapons and stuff like that. Those are the unlocks you'll get that are like the traditional roguelike unlocks that are like permanent between your runs. But other than that, it's completely cosmetic because it's just like palettes. This is like a 1-bit type of game. So, a 1-bit is with basically one color. You get like white and black and then one color. And the palettes just change what colors are used. And those are the unlocks. Those are like the roguelike type of unlocks that you're going to be unlocking. So it's not going to be like Isaac, where you have all these characters to get all these unlocks for with the 600 items. It's limited. It's limited, Yeah.
So, I mean, it sounds like for $3 though, it's pretty robust.
Yeah, it is. It is so much fun for $3. It just has such a good game feel. I saw a video a long time ago. My first like introduction of like why games feel good, because before if you don't know about certain things, sometimes you just play certain games. You're just like, wow, this feels like shit, but I don't know why I hate playing it. And some games you're like, this feels so good, but it's not that good of a game, but I just love playing it. Because of game feel. So I watched this video, the guys who made Nuclear Throne, Vlambeer, was one of the developers in Vlambeer, like basically making a game in front of an audience and be like, yeah, this is how we make a game feel good. Let's add a bunch of screen shake, and we make the enemies flash white when you shoot them, and then there's like a hit freeze a little bit just to show some impact on your attacks and stuff like that. And all of those things basically make Downwell just like fun to play, even if it isn't that interesting, even if it isn't that engaging or full of content like other roguelikes. It's still just really, really good.
Yeah, it's just like a hop in, hop out kind of deal.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the trailer on Steam, that's the game. It's the whole game right there. You just like that is the vibe you get. And even looking at it right now, I'm like, oh damn, I wish I was playing some fucking Downwell right now.
Yeah. I was looking it up while you were talking, and the guy who made Downwell, his name is, what is his name? Ojiro Fumoto.
Yep.
And he also made, what is it called? Seaside Drive, which is one of my favorite games in UFO 50. So he's got some chops. He's pretty good at making these arcade style games.
Oh, fucking UFO 50. I forgot about that. I also bought, that does remind me, I did just buy Spelunky 1 and 2 on Switch, because that is like such a good platform to have them on. And I am a big fan of Spelunky.
Yeah, I don't know. I can never get into Spelunky, but I actually have Spelunky 2. I have the first one, but I'm kind of thinking maybe I should just hop into the second one as like, you know, to be different. Pretty much.
I don't like the second one as much as the first one, honestly. I think the second one is too much, actually. I think the first one is just right. So if you're gonna jump into the second one, you're gonna be like, I don't even know how lost and confused you're gonna be. Because it feels like they made the second one with regards of people already mastering the first one, you know?
Yeah.
So like, even though I have like 100 and something hours in Spelunky 1, when I play Spelunky 2, I'm dog shit. I'm just like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
But I also just genuinely like Spelunky 1 more. The only reason I bring that up is because Spelunky, the UFO 50 guys, are the Spelunky guys.
Yeah.
So,
but then it's cool that they got like, you know, some other guest creators to come in, like this Downwell guy to do one, and a couple other people.
He's made a couple things. But I mean, he's definitely Downwell is I feel like just fairly prolific. Like, you know about it even if you haven't really played it, which apparently I'm finding out not a lot of people have played it. But
yeah, but you see the like white stick figure iconography, you know what it is. You've seen it.
And you're just like, oh, that's Downwell. Which is unfortunate because more people need to play it.
Yeah, definitely. Check it out. It's $3. Use your gold coins. When do they expire? At the end of the year? So
I have no clue. Yeah, I saved up like $10 once.
Holy shit! How much money you spent? Oh, I forgot you can get the coins from the physical games too. So maybe.
I didn't.
Okay.
I saved it for like over 6 years.
Okay. See, I'm kind of the mind with these kinds of things where I just use them right after I get them, because like they're not gonna. I don't know. It does matter, but it's not gonna like. You don't get interest or anything, so there's no reason to save them other than getting a free Downwell every once in a while. It makes you feel good.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's see. I could take you a couple different places, Jonathan. Where do you want to go? I could take you down the path of Metroid Prime, down the path of Sony PlayStation, or down the path of some new indie action. What do you want to hear about?
Man, I kind of want to hear about Spider-Man 2, because that's like a game that I just like genuinely don't really care about.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the franchise? Spider-Man as a franchise? Like the PlayStation ones.
I mean, I just don't know how they keep doing it. I don't know how Spider-Man, they just be making like the same thing. Like, there's so much Spider-Man stuff. He's the most popular superhero ever. I think that's pretty fair to say.
Yeah,
right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the most popular superhero ever. He's everywhere. They reboot his entire plot line every 10 years. How are we still doing it? How can it be? It's
just great. I mean, it's great source material.
Yeah. There's a new cartoon out, and it's just like this Spider-Man, like, again. Like, we just keep tuning in to Spider-Man. You know, we're not just like, oh man, I gotta watch him in high school and he's gonna fight the Green Goblin. It's like, oh, we have to watch like the Green Goblin become evil again. It's like, what? Like, they keep getting us, man. They keep getting us.
If it works, it works. I mean,
the only thing I know about Spider-Man 2, though, I know that wasn't what you were asking. You're talking about the games. I like Spider-Man 1. It's just like a very competent, well put together like game, and it's like borderline kind of like Ubisoft open world type shit, you know, like go to your map and go to this challenge and take a picture of this thing for your checklists, but it still is a lot of fun, and you know, it makes you feel like Spider-Man. Wasn't that what the guy said that one time?
Probably, but I mean, it does though.
Yeah, but the only thing I know about Spider-Man 2 is Spider-Man Peter Parker getting pinned down by a fridge. Does that happen?
Yep. I think. I don't know. It doesn't really ring a bell, but it sounds like something that happened. Well, how can we forget? Deep-voiced, angry Yuri Lowenthal.
He does do that, doesn't he?
He does. And the scene from that first trailer where it sounds really bad is like the worst of it. So I don't know why that's where they used it in the trailer, but it's pretty bad for a lot of the game, but not that bad.
I just don't really understand why they made him do the like that's like almost like he's a good voice actor. You know, it's like almost as bad as the Bully Maguire. From Spider-Man 3. It's like that is it's too much. It's like, relax.
It is, yeah. All right, let me top level this. So I really like the Spider-Man games on PlayStation, but I don't love them. I think they're, like you said, well put together games, but it's one of those Sony games that might be too polished that it starts to lose some of that soul.
God of War Ragnarok type.
Yeah, kind of like that. And like you said, you do feel like Spider-Man. I kept Spider-Man 1 installed on my PlayStation for years just because sometimes I would like to hop in and just swing around for a little bit if I didn't really know what I wanted to play. I think I like Miles Morales a bit more than the first one. And I would put so far, well, not so far, I finished it, but I haven't 100%ed Spider-Man 2. But from finishing it, I'd probably put it like in between 1 and Miles Morales. I think it's pretty much just as good as the first one, if not a little bit improved. And it's just a lot more of it. If you like the first one, you're going to like this one. They did really ramp up a lot of the set piece moments, I guess because of the PlayStation 5, so they can actually, do some bigger stuff. And they updated some of the swinging and flying mechanics to make it somehow even more satisfying. And that's pretty much it. The rest of the game is almost identical to the other two. One big thing that they changed that I think actually does put it over the first one is, remember in those games you always had like the abilities and the gadgets or whatever, and you would have to pull up a weapon wheel every time you wanted to use it. Now they're mapped to the face buttons, so you can just, I forget exactly how you do it, but you can pull them out like in real time instead of having to slow down combat. So everything just feels a little bit more snappy, a little punchier. Everything looks better, of course. It's on the PlayStation. It's got ray tracing. So yeah, I mean it's good, but it's nothing groundbreaking or anything.
Isn't there like segments where you play as some character, like just some normal person who's like has to go around like talking to people?
There's the segments in the first one where you play as Mary Jane, and they're like the stealth segments, and they were just fucking horrible.
Right.
This they kept them in, but they made them actually engaging. I'm not gonna say fun, but they gave you something to do. They gave her a gun. It's just like a stun gun, but they gave her something to do, and that's about the extent of it. I don't know if there's something else that maybe you do in like a side quest or something, but that's the main thing you switch off of Spider-Man for.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have not heard anything really about this game.
Yeah, I mean it was big when it came out, but I think there is a bit of Spider-Man fatigue, so it kind of faded away pretty quickly. Something I'm remembering now that I didn't actually note down for this is they really improved the side quests. So like you said, the Ubisoft open world is still there. There's probably just as much checklisty stuff in here as in the first one. But did you play Miles?
No, I did not.
Okay, so in that one, they put a lot more emphasis, because it was a shorter game, on like meaningful side quests. So there was a lot less of them, and there was a lot of more voice acting, a lot more like cutscenes and everything involved with these. And you get good rewards for them. They kind of carried that through into the second one. So a lot of these checklisty things result in stories, like side stories. And then there's also some unique side quests that you can do in each region of New York. And they all feel a lot more meaningful, and they really flesh out the world in a way that makes it feel not like they're just recycling the same map, which they are. Not that there's anything wrong with that, I guess. And I think it makes it feel a lot more like a believable world, especially with some of the new characters they've introduced. Like there's a deaf character that they have, and you get to like actually get like on the ground floor with them and learn about their life and everything. So just stuff like that makes it feel more real, more believable, whenever the rest of the game is you just, mashing square to kill little sand blob creatures.
You're not fighting random goons and kicking them off the top of a building.
Don't worry, they're still goons and they're still kicking.
I love the goons. I love the goons. It's like, New York would not be able to operate. Like, if this is how New York was, it would just not be able to operate. People would not be out on the streets. You tell me that, like, people are still... It really is kind of like Saturday morning cartoon type of New York City, where, like, dudes in uniforms and, like, ski masks go and break into a bank and steal, like, the money truck. And they're flying down the street, and there's like money flying out the back, and they're like, "It's fucking Spider-Man!" And that is what Spider-Man 1 is. That is what the first Spider-Man game is.
It's how this one is. There's even a side quest in this one that like acknowledges that, and they have a set of goons that are like, I forget exactly what they say, but it's something to the effect of like, "Man, I'm just a goon. I shouldn't be dealing with all this."
Yeah, it's a tough life. You telling me that? Well, I mean, apparently I was gonna say you have to work in such harsh conditions, but apparently you can just get a job doing whatever. They're all over the city. Like what? Like how could this be?
Yeah, and there's a lot of just fighting random dudes for a long time, and it gets a little boring, but it's an easy 100% at least. So you don't have to spend 40 hours to get everything done. You spend like 25, and then you're like, all right, good, wrapping it up, moving on.
That is true. I did 100% the first Spider-Man game, and
yeah, me too.
Unfortunately, don't remember it that well.
Yeah, and they added a lot more things with getting all the collectibles and whatnot to make it a little bit more worth it. But really, it is just the cool suit, look cool, and they added some color customization for the suits. Always appreciated.
Right.
You can swap between Peter Parker Spider-Man and Miles Morales Spider-Man. They have different abilities, so you got a lot of combat variety there.
Does Peter... Are you able to... Don't you play as Venom for like 2 seconds in that game?
Yeah, you do. There's one mission where you play as Venom.
And then you never play as him again?
No. Just the one.
I mean,
it's a long mission. Yeah, it's pretty fun, but like it's one of those like... it's very PS2. Like, what would have been a QuickTime event, instead they make just like a little... thing where you play as the villain and you just run around and kill everything instantly, and it's not really that well implemented, but it's fun. So
just a bonus game.
Yep. So yeah, I'm pretty high on it. I like it. I'm probably gonna 100% it. I would recommend it. It's a good story, good enough if you like Spider-Man. But I am actually quite looking forward to the third one. They're
making a third one?
Yeah, I mean they have to. Of course, right? They have to, but also there's like they do the Marvel cliffhanger thing at the end, so I feel like they will.
What is the cliffhanger in this one?
Spoilers for Spider-Man 2. It's going to be the Green Goblin in the third one. He's not in the second one.
Is he even in the first one? I thought he was in the first one.
Well, Harry Osborn's in it, or Norman Osborn's in it, but he doesn't. He doesn't talk to the mask. But at the end of the third one, you get some hints that he's getting a little zany in the head, so. Yeah, I mean, you have to do it, right? You have to do Green Goblin, you have to do Venom.
I thought they already did it, so I'm kind of like, oh, okay.
Like,
I don't know, how many times did you do the Green Goblin? I
don't love the Green Goblin as a like superhero villain. I don't really think he's that interesting, but he is iconic, if not for just the same Sam Raimi movies. So
yeah,
they had to do it eventually.
You could just get Dane DeHaan, Hobgoblin. Just watch the Amazing Spider-Man movies. They're just so silly. Jamie Foxx falls into a vat of eels and turns into Electro. It's just like, okay.
He turns sexy.
He does. The gap in his tooth closes. And he just loves Spider-Man so much. It's like one of those plot lines where it's just like, I love Spider-Man so much. Oh, hold on. Spider-Man lied to me. I hate Spider-Man. Now it's evil. It's like, what is going on, man?
That reminds me. They got the Lizard in this one. And they did some really cool stuff with that whole plot line and the design of him as a villain to make it like pretty interesting. And then there's like a whole set of main missions towards like the middle of the game where you go off on this side story about the Lizard, and then he brings you back to the main story. And I thought that was really cool that it's like episodic, like comic book issue-y, where it's like we have these different little arcs within the story to actually make it feel different.
Oh,
I guess
like
that's just
that.
describing video games, but you know, it feels
that's-
unique.
That's pretty. I mean, that's like, that's how they would do it. They're like focus on one villain at a time instead of all of them. I think I kind of dig that. I will say this does just makes me want to play the Arkham games.
Yeah, I mean,
I just find them much more interesting.
Yeah, the story in Arkham's always a lot better. I prefer the combat actually in Spider-Man just because there's a lot going on.
Yeah,
They're very similar though. I mean, they're very, very similar.
Yeah.
All right, so that's Spider-Man 2. I don't know what I would give it out of 10. Let me see if I gave it a review on GG App, because I don't know. It's a solid game, but it doesn't really do anything special. So I feel kind of in the middle about it. So maybe like a 7 or 8 out of 10. I mean, it's pretty polished, so I'm gonna go with like a 7.5.
7 is like a doomed score for me. Like if I give someone a 7, that is like that could mean a lot of things.
No, we gotta reset the scale. 5 is like mediocre down the middle, right?
5 is, well, 7 is like, yeah, this game was like 7 is what I give a lot of games that like, yeah, this is a well-made game, but like also did not make me want to like care that much about anything. So it's like you get a 7.
I guess. I mean, it is certainly a well-made game. No glitches, runs well.
Yeah,
solid frames. Fun stuff to do around every corner, but just doesn't really do anything. Not that every game has to be groundbreaking, but it just doesn't put itself up on that next tier. But I think 7 is a good score. I like 7s. I wouldn't play a game I would play a game if it was a 7 from like Metacritic or whatever.
Yeah. People's scores are very skewed. I had to put in my GG app recently because like points don't matter. The score doesn't matter.
All right, what's your next review for us?
Oh man, I have been playing a lot of Darkest Dungeon. Everyone's got to get on this.
Never heard of it. No, I'm kidding. But
I was gonna be like, no, you're full of shit. That's
no,
not true.
I played a lot of it. I suck at it.
It's so good. It's one of those games that are just gets better as you play it.
I know a lot of people. It's like their game.
Oh yeah, it is becoming my game once again. It becomes like a little obsession. Every couple of years, I play like 50 hours of it, like nonstop, and then I don't play it, and then I like party wipe on a boss, and then I don't play it again for another like 2 years, and then I play 50 hours, and I just do that, and now I'm back, and I'm gonna beat it this time.
Yeah,
I'm gonna beat it. No, I never beat it. I have 150 hours, never beaten it. Over several playthroughs, I've just like given up or been like, I can't do this, or I've always given up. But I'm gonna do it this time.
It's very unlike you. It must be super tough.
It is one of the hardest games I've ever played in my life, for sure. It is a challenge. It's a total challenge. It is about, Darkest Dungeon is like a roguelike. So it's like it's a strategy. It's basically every buzzword that turns on my brain. Turn-based, dungeon crawler, roguelike, management, strategy, simulation, base building. Like it has everything. It has fucking everything you could ask for in a roguelike RPG, right? And the whole premise of the game is that you have this roster of heroes. And there's like 14 or something. There's a lot of character classes. Like a lot. I don't think any other game has this many character classes. And they're all different. They all do different things. Fill different party roles. And you just take on this assortment of quests. They get progressively more difficult. Just fulfilling goals, gathering loot, building your base back up until you can challenge the darkest dungeon, which is the final portion of the game. And it's all about just making party compositions and testing out 4-man party compositions with all these different character classes that are totally 100% unique. Different abilities, different stats, different roles, different trinkets that put them into different subclasses, basically. And it's just like an experimenter's dream, you know? You are doing the same quests a lot, but you have so much freedom in designing your party that it's just so much fun going and creating parties just to see how they work and see if they survive or not, or if they, barely make it by or anything like that. It's just so good, and it's kept me engaged for so long because I love it so much.
So the thing that's standing out to me that I want to know is, since you never beaten it after so much time, is it really challenging, or do you have to get lucky? Like, what piece needs to fall into place here?
So I think it is mostly strategy, but luck does have the final say in the matter. Is what I can say about it. You all have stats, and the game is extremely upfront with everything. The percentages to hit, percentages to crit, your percentage for resisting getting stunned or poisoned or bled or just moved around, like your character that's a frontline damage dealer gets like pushed to the back. These are all available to you and are just completely upfront for you to understand and strategize before you put your characters into any of the dungeons that you want to go through. And really, what you want to do, ideally, is to make it as efficient as possible, make your team as efficient as possible, and least reliant on luck as humanly possible. But there's always a chance that luck will make or break everything at the end if things go wrong. But the better you play, the less likely luck will have to come into effect. The worse you play, the worse you strategize, and the worse you perform, the more luck will be important to you, essentially. So, I do not think that it's all luck. But luck does help. Sometimes you'll be like, I don't know how I'm going to do this without, like, you'll get, like, a great run, and then you'll get to the boss, and then you'll get super unlucky on the boss, and you'll just be, or the boss will just be too strong for you, and you'll just be like, I don't know how I'm going to get past that. I had a perfect run. I don't know if I'm ever going to strike lightning again twice. How am I going to do this? And then you just get better. You get better trinkets. You get better heroes. You are more prepared. You have knowledge in your brain of what's going to happen now. So you're more prepared, and you just do it.
That sounds satisfying. That's how the best roguelites are, like that, where you can play against the luck, and that's the strategy.
Yeah.
Is it a lot of permanent upgrades, like the way you're making it sound? It sounds like you unlock a lot of stuff, and or is it all just, given to you at random?
It is mostly, it is actually a grind. The game itself is a grind. So the way to get to the end of the game, this is what you have to do. You have to go to the highest level difficulty dungeon at the very end of the game. Characters level from level 0 to level 6. 6 is the max level. The final dungeon in the game is darkest. It's the darkest dungeon. It's like the darkest difficulty. and that's extremely difficult. And the only way you're going to survive is by putting in level 6 heroes. And even then, there's a high chance that 1 or 2 or more of your heroes are going to die, and you're going to fail the quest. But when you first start the game, you just have 0 level heroes. There's 4 regions throughout on a map screen, and you can take quests under 4 regions, and then there's 2 other regions for the DLCs. And what you do is that you're just slowly building up your heroes, these individual heroes. And these heroes, when they level up, their stats raise. They are eligible for upgrades for their weapons, armor, and skills to upgrade their skills. And they just get general boosts in their stats, like they get stress reduction, they get a higher chance to, get a virtue, which is like a good thing. You can lose that at any time. A hero can die at any time, and they're gone forever. But you can always get another hero and build up that hero. And it can take a while. In the early game, it can take a while, because you have not a lot of resources in your hamlet. But you can always build them back up. The permanent upgrades, you get wealth. In the dungeons, you get wealth. And you get, what is it called? Heirlooms. The heirlooms and the money are used to upgrade the facilities. These are permanent upgrades that will make everything much easier. If you had a level 0 hamlet with all level 0 heroes, it's going to be much more difficult than if you had a fully upgraded hamlet and this identical level 0 heroes. The hamlet itself upgraded does quite a bit, because it just gives you more options and more freedom and more strategy for the actual dungeons. So the dungeons giveth and very rarely taketh. The only thing you lose permanently are the heroes. That's it. Even the trinkets. The trinkets are the things that you have 2 slots on each hero. Some trinkets are general trinkets that can be put on any hero class. Some trinkets are trinkets that can only be put on certain hero classes. And even those, like, you can lose them, but you have a way to get them back. After you lose, I think, like 8 of them, a special quest is initiated where you have to fight this special boss. And you don't even have to kill the boss. You just have to survive against it for 3 turns. And you get all the trinkets you lost back. So even if you're like, oh, fuck, I just lost like this amazing trinket, super rare trinket I'm never going to get again. No, it's still in the game. The game still tracks that you own it. You just have to get it back. And it's, very, very easy to get it back, essentially. So losing isn't ever that big of a setback. You will lose your heroes. You'll lose a lot of your heroes, probably. But you can really always get them back, and usually you can make them back stronger, essentially. So the game isn't really very willy-nilly and, like, just giving you things and letting that carry you. It's very balanced. It's one of the most balanced games I've ever played as well. So not only is it one of the most difficult games I've ever played, it's extremely balanced. There's not a lot of things in the game where you're like, this is fucked up. Maybe you'll have, when you first see an enemy, when you first see a giant, like a troll giant in level, the veteran level weld, and the troll giant does 52 damage on a crit for the tree branch smackdown, you're gonna be like, this game isn't fucking balanced at all. And then you really understand that that's all it can do, and it's very slow, and it can't dodge anything. And then you kind of realized, oh, wait a minute. Now I know its stick. It's not unbalanced. I just didn't know it was going to do that. And now I know, Now, whenever I see a giant troll in the weld, I have a setup that where my, leper can buff himself up to take 72% damage reduction. And that 52% crit becomes like 5 damage.
Yeah.
So I do not think it's based on luck. I do think luck, you do need luck at the end of the day, but if you're gonna lose, it also might have been for another reason. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it sounds like all the permanent upgrades and everything, it sounds like it's a real RPG. And then the actual gameplay just so happens to be a roguelike.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a real RPG. The only thing about it being like a roguelike is that all the missions are completely randomized. You are building up your heroes, but you never have a opportunity to. You can play like 200 weeks. Every mission, every time you take on a mission, a week passes. So you can do like 200 weeks, which would take a really long time in real life. And you can get, a full roster, like 27 character roster full of level 6 heroes, and then you can go and delete every single person from your roster and be stuck with level 0 heroes, and the game will give you level 1 quests again. So you're never like, oh, if I'm starting to run low on my champions, like I'm not gonna be able to beat this game. No, you're always gonna be able to build back up. You're going to be able to build back up even faster now that you have all the upgrades, but you'll always be able to build back up, essentially, because it's based on what you have in your roster. If you have only level 6 heroes in your roster, you're only going to get the highest level quests. If you only have low level heroes in your roster, you're only going to get low level hero quests. If you have a mix of all three, the low, mid, and high level heroes, you're going to get all 3 level quests. So you always have a chance to, maybe take it easy, maybe try something harder, maybe try something intermediate. You always have a choice. And no matter how far you fall, you have a chance to build back up. Unless you play in the Stygian/Blood Moon difficulty, which you only have 100 weeks to beat the game. And if you have more than 12 or 16 heroes dead, the game ends.
Well, people just hate themselves, so...
Some people do it. People really do it. And then there's even an easy mode. Not necessarily an easy mode. It's called like Radiant difficulty. So, if the base game is too hard for you, then you can just play that too. And I don't think... there is a lot... Mostly the bosses. The bosses are like when you'll be like, what the fuck, dude? Like the bosses can be really, really difficult. Specifically the DLC bosses. The Crimson Court, oh my god. Crimson Court is extremely difficult. The hardest content in the game. It introduces a mechanic where you can ignore the Crimson Court region for as long as you want, basically. But eventually you're going to be called to it, because then the Crimson Court will invade other regions. And you'll see these bloodsucker enemies that are all like mutated and messed up with these like eldritch creatures, and they will give you the Crimson Curse. They'll give you like your heroes the Crimson Curse, and then the Crimson Curse is a negative, technically. You do get negative stats, and they will start to crave a certain item called the Blood that you can find in the game. But it's actually a buff in itself, because once they are thirsty enough, they'll reach something called craving. And then if you give them the blood, they'll enter something called the Bloodlust, which will increase their damage, increase their speed, increase some of their resistance. I think it'll lower their bleeding resistance, but it'll heighten like everything else. So it's actually like a buff in a way. And that is like a plague that will spread across your hero roster if you're not careful. If you don't have any blood, they could die if you don't give it to them. They can kill other NPCs. If you have like a wasting away hero on a quest, he might kill another NPC to satiate his bloodlust and go back to like the Crimson Curse being docile. And the bosses in that DLC are just like, I think the actual advertisement for the actual store page for the Crimson Court DLC says like new devious boss encounters, and that's what they are. They are devious. They are like its own strategy and thing. It's very, very in depth. But they give you like it's not without reward. When you beat a Crimson Court boss, all your heroes get cured of the plague. The infestation level goes down, so you have many weeks where contracting the curse is not going to be an issue, and you get extremely powerful trinkets, which will... Also, trinkets are not level locked. So level 0 hero with high level trinkets is just going to be better. You know? So you will always have your trinkets. You always have your trinkets. So it's just like, you know, the permanent upgrades are permanent in that way. You know what I'm saying? It's just good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah. I love permanent upgrades in roguelites, so it sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it is. I do think anyone who is an RPG lover should definitely try out Darkest Dungeon. It has such a good... First of all, the gameplay is just great. It's kind of like XCOM in a certain way, because there's a base builder and then there's the tactical strategy type things. I think that Darkest Dungeon does it better and makes it more interesting, and it's more balanced than XCOM. Even though I love XCOM, it just does it better. And Darkest Dungeon also has such a good artistic quality to it. You know, that narrator is just amazing. The visuals, it has its own
great art style. Yeah,
amazing art style with, like, you know, dark shadows, can't see their eyes, good writing, like all this stuff, great sound design. Everything is just so good. So not only is the gameplay like amazing, artistically it is extremely unique and enthralling, dare I say.
Excellent. How long has that game been out? It's pretty old now. They have the second one already, right? So it's like kind of a staple.
Oh yeah. It's been out for over 10 years. I think I remember playing it when I was like 14, 13 around. It might have been early access at the time, but yeah, it's been out for quite a bit. And then Darkest Dungeon 2, I remember when they revealed Darkest Dungeon 2 at some awards show. Maybe it was E3. I think it might have been some awards show, but it was the Mountains of Madness. And I remember I heard the narrator and I was like, what the fuck? This sounds like the narrator. Like, that's kind of weird. And then the symbol for Darkest Dungeon, the logo is the Iron Crown. Whenever, like, madness, you know, insanity, that's how it is physically represented, is the Iron Crown. And, like, they show the Iron Crown. He's like, the Mountains of Madness. And they show the Iron Crown over this torch. And I went, holy fucking shit, they're making a second one? Whoa. I don't know, it's just weird whenever a roguelike gets, like, a second game. Like imagine if The Binding of Isaac 2 came out. You'd be like, what is going on? Hades 2? That's weird. That's weird.
Yeah. Spelunky 2, they're all a little bit weird.
Spelunky 2? That's weird. Enter the Gungeon 2? I don't know about it, man. It's just because you put a 2 in front of it that I'm like, ooh, how you gonna do this?
Well,
but Darkest Dungeon 2
seems like a different game. So
Darkest Dungeon 2 is also a completely different game. There's no base building. There's no like that is more of a traditional roguelike where you do runs. But I haven't played that one yet, and I know, but it's just very different, like structurally, and also I know that it's very different mechanically. It actually plays more like a board game, where I think it's less based on percentage chances, and it's more about like tokens. You know, you like place tokens on enemy. Yeah, that's all I know about it. I need to kind of jump into it. It's it just got its new like free DLC called Kingdoms, which makes it more in line with Darkest Dungeon 1. So we'll have to check that out at some point. But the visuals in that game, they made it like 3D, and they translated everyone's hot. Everyone just looks so good. Like the sprite work in Darkest Dungeon 1 is good, but like it's like chibi-ish in a way. You know, like they're small, their heads are kind of big, and it's just a little exaggerated. They kind of went with more realistic body proportions in the second one, and they're smoking. I just gotta tell you, they're just smoking.
I like a lot of the enemy designs from 2. I don't know why I've seen so many of them online, but like, there's the one that always goes around that's like the human with a mushroom growing out of its stomach. It's like all fucked up and gross looking. And like the big ogre dudes. Like, I don't know, the enemies in these games are always really cool. There's the one that's in the Binding of Isaac card game. I think it's from Darkest Dungeon 1, the Collector.
Oh yes, the Collector's in Four Souls.
Yeah, he's a guest boss card, and he has beautiful art. I mean, all these character designs are great.
That is news to me. Yeah, the Collector is probably the most famous enemy from Darkest Dungeon, which is interesting because he's not that big of a deal. He's a big deal when you first see him and you're low level and you get completely fucking party wiped. But now when I see the Collector, I've actually been able, because now I figured him out, I can just completely mog the Collector instantly. Before he can even attack and summon his summons, he's like dead.
That's a good feeling.
Very impressive. Yeah, it is a very, very good feeling. So it's just like, it is one of the best roguelikes, one of the best indie games. I mean it that it is a masterpiece. I think that just the gameplay itself is just phenomenal. And then just on top of that, just like artistically, it is so special and gorgeous. And that's why I think it's like a masterpiece. I don't think every 10 out of 10 I give is like a masterpiece. But I do think that Darkest Dungeon 2 is Darkest Dungeon 1 is a masterpiece. I just think everything they did was so inspired and thought out and impressive. It's just very impressive what they've done, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, you see how many games it's gone on to inspire, like Slay the Spire and things like that. Like, there's tons of games that take influence from Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah, and I haven't really played much of them, but it's just like, it like this is the OG. Like, I don't know how you can get much better than this. Like, this is it.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It is hard. And you know what? I'm looking at this right now. This fucks me up. There's a lot of DLCs for the second one. I'm kind of scared about jumping into the second one because I'm just trying to find out, like, how the game works. You know, now I have to figure out, like, a completely new game. And I get to be worried that they, like, fucked it up. They have a DLC called The Binding Blade. And whenever I see that, I think about Fire Emblem 6.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just like, what the fuck, dude?
Well, maybe they were inspired by Fire Emblem. It is, tactical strategy. I'm sure they're Fire Emblem people.
I doubt it, but I mean,
well,
I'm sure they played it, but I doubt this was inspired by it. But yeah, maybe.
They knew what they were doing.
Yeah. But yeah,
right.
Play Darkest Dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
Play Downwell.
Play all the games that we talk about. We only play good games. Until we drag something through the streets at the end of the year for being the worst game.
We did we were very nice about Monster Hunter Wilds, and then for like the last 20 minutes we were not nice.
So there's some questionable things in that game. We gotta play that new update, by the way.
Which
the
new
Blossom
update?
Festival, the spring event.
Is that like new?
Yeah, it's like out like yesterday or 2 days ago, I think. Got like armor and stuff.
Is Rajang back or not? Because you said
No.
Monkey. If Rajang is
he's
not back, why do I keep seeing like Monkey posts?
I don't know. Maybe he will be back, but he's not back yet.
I don't think he's gonna be back in Wilds.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
They already had him back, and it'd be weird if they're like, he's back again. Like I think I think they're gonna skip him this one. So
probably. All right, let me jump into my review, Duffy.
yeah.
I would like to tell you about Metroid Prime 2. Now, when I tell you that this is one of the best games I've ever played, I mean it. 100%.
You said that about
mean
Metroid
it.
Prime Run.
Yeah, and this one's better.
Wow.
Metroid Prime 2, so far, is my favorite of the series, because I'm already almost done with Metroid Prime 3. So, unless that one ends with like some spectacular level design or something, I think 2 might be the best Metroid game that I've ever played, at least.
You gonna play Other M?
I think I am. Not anytime soon, but I think I am.
Do you own Other M?
No, but it's cheap because no one liked it.
Yeah, I think that's so funny.
I played the Other M arcade game at Dave & Buster's in circa 2008 or whenever that game came out.
I didn't even know Dave & Buster's existed at that time. But yeah, why don't you talk about Metroid Prime 2?
Mm-hmm. So, I came out swinging with Metroid Prime 1, talking to this is great ass game. Why didn't anyone ever tell me about how good it is? Being an asshole, because everyone always says Metroid Prime, the trilogy, is like some of the greatest games ever made. And I just didn't believe them. And I continue to be proven wrong, because Metroid Prime 2 is a game that does almost nothing wrong. And that's
Wow.
shocking to me. because Nintendo loves to do things wrong.
They do. They like introducing shit that no one likes.
Yeah. And there's certainly a lot of stuff in Metroid Prime 2 that just doesn't make any fucking sense. It kind of takes away from the experience, but it's the classic Jake thing where the few things that were aggravating are so vastly overwhelmed by things that are constantly surprising me and making me feel things that I didn't know I could feel, that they just get washed away and they don't matter anymore.
Right.
And so the whole shtick for Metroid Prime was we're Nintendo and we're making a Metroid game that is also a first-person shooter. I want to say inspired by, like, you know, Doom and all the classic PC first-person shooters, but really it's its own thing. Then you see later down the line there's some influence from Halo, but at this point they're still kind of just doing their own thing. And the first game just takes all the best parts of Metroid and just puts it in first person. The controls are a little bit wonky, but it works. And it's one of the best Metroidvanias ever. The second game just does all of that and adds more on top of it. So the shtick is that it's a dark versus light kind of story. This is where they introduce Dark Samus.
Was it called Echoes or something?
Echoes, yes. Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. And because you're on a planet that has like a regular world and then an alternate version of it that's like the dark world, like the medium, but actually good. And whenever you're in the regular world, there are certain things that you can see but you can't interact with. So then when you go to the dark world, you can interact with them and it changes something in the light world. And when you're in the dark world, you have to go from safe haven to safe haven, and anywhere else the atmosphere is acidic and damages you over time. So it's a constant battle against, like, okay, I gotta get from here all the way to that side of the map, so I need to plot out where am I going to be stopping, where am I going to be picking up heals along the way. It really feels oppressive, and it makes you feel rather immersed in this weird, hazy world, in that you just feel like everything is against you. Then you come out into the daytime, the light world, and it's just that classic, great level design that Retro is known for Metroid Prime. Some of the best looping around and shortcutting and all of that stuff that you would come to expect from a really good Metroidvania. And those two things interplay so well. You're always jumping back and forth doing one or the other, solving puzzles, picking up new items, and killing enemies. I mean, the combat is what it is. No one ever claimed that it was anything more than point and shoot, but that's kind of all it needs to be for a Metroid game. And it's just great. It's so satisfying at all times just to be constantly moving towards your goals. There's never a moment in this game that you feel like you're wasting your time, and that's one of the greatest compliments I can give.
Metroid games do have a good way of progression, you know? Like that's what you want in a Metroidvania. You want constant progression, you know? Even if you don't even think you're going towards progression, you're finding progression somehow, you know?
Yeah. Definitely.
What planet are you on in that game?
I forget what it's called, but it's the one with the Luminoth, if you've seen them. Metroid Prime 2 planet. They're like these big moth dudes that are kind of cute, to be honest with you, but they have like a fucked up backstory. You get all the lore about them. This planet is called Ether, and then you go to Dark Ether. This is the Dark World.
Dark Ether. Where have I heard that from?
Dark Ether is the universe you go into in Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies.
Okay. Yes, thank you. I knew I've heard this before.
So you knew as soon as he said the word Dark Ether, my eyes popped out of my head.
Does a character refer to it as, like, there's like voice acting in that game?
No, but there's they make sounds but text on the screen. Metroid Prime 3 has full voice acting and it's bizarre.
Metroid
Samus
Other M has
talk.
full acting. Metroid Other M, she does talk.
Yeah, I know. It's unfortunate.
It's like strange.
And I think,
Wait, what are you playing this on?
I played it on my Wii, but I have on my birthday last year. I bought myself a GameCube disc of Metroid Prime 2 and a Wii disc of Metroid Prime 3. So,
is Metroid Prime 3 on Wii? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's only on Wii, and then they have the trilogy on Wii, which I kind of wanted to get, but the main draw there is the controls. But let me talk about the controls real quick.
I have the trilogy actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think you can use a GameCube controller on the Wii version. I think you have to use the Wii controls, which I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah. Because the GameCube controls, they are fucked up. I cannot deny. But really, you get used to it almost instantly. Like,
what's fucked up about it?
So, you use the left stick. If you push the left stick forward or backward, you walk forward or backward. And if you push the left stick left or right, you turn your head and look left and right. And then the right stick, the C stick, doesn't do the camera. It just changes your weapon. That's what's really fucked up about Metroid Prime 1 and 2.
Yeah, that is
no, but I know how it sounds. You get used to it very quickly. And it actually makes it feel, because Nintendo and Metroid and all that, it's not going to be like a Twitch shooter. It's really not even, it is a first-person shooter, so I don't know where I'm going with this, but it's not like a shooter first. It's like Metroid, where you just pump thousands of pellets into these enemies. You don't have a strategy, you just point and shoot. And there's a lock-on and everything, so you really are just pointing and shooting at these guys. And you just so happen to be in first person. You're not aiming for headshots, you're not strafing around corners, you're not, jump shotting, you're not doing any of that. You just look at an enemy, and you press the A button until they die.
Don't you? Hey, man, that's all you need sometimes. That's how we were playing games all the time back in the day, and then Doom changed it all.
Yeah, this isn't Doom. This is not twitchy. It's none of that. Enemies have a ton of health. The one unique thing that Metroid Prime, there's lots of unique things, but the combat thing that's different from Metroid Prime 2 is I think in 1, I forget exactly what the upgrades were, but I remember it was like fire and ice, I think, and some enemies were weak to fire and some were weak to ice or whatever. In this one, you have a dark beam and a light beam, and then like a couple other minor ones, but those are the main ones. And the dark enemies are weak to light, and some of the light enemies are weak to dark. But there's this interesting mechanic in Metroid Prime where you scan things. It's kind of a collector's dream. Like, to get 100% in one of these games, you'd probably have to spend hours. I'm gonna look like how long to beat on this, because it would take forever. You can scan almost everything, and it'll give you a little snippet about it, whether it's a story thing or like a gameplay thing or even just flavor text. There's nothing, not all of them are interesting, but everything can be scanned. And so you scan an enemy and it'll tell you kind of their weakness, but it is up to you to piece together what they mean and how you can best take down each of these enemies. So it's often more complex than just, this enemy is purple, so he's weak to the white beam kind of thing. Sometimes there's one is standing out to me where it's a robot spider with an alien riding it, and they're two separate enemies, and if you kill the alien first, which is weak to light, then the spider will open up and you can morph ball under it and explode it. But if you kill the spider first, which is weak to dark, then the alien will fly off and start shooting you, and then you have to shoot missiles at it to kill it. And it's like all that kind of stuff, that every enemy is unique, every encounter is unique, and every room is very well handcrafted so that it's not like randomly generated enemy placement. Every enemy is there for a purpose, and it shows with the quality of the layouts and everything.
Do they respawn, or are they?
Yeah, it's classic Metroid. Once you leave the room and come back, they're there again.
Oh yeah, we gotta love that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there is a lot of just running past enemies, but you have a ton of health and everything, so it's not that bad. Okay, I looked it up. 100% for Metroid Prime 2 on GameCube, 25 hours. That's a long time for a game.
How much is it to just beat normally?
It's like 10. Oh, it's like 15. I think I put like 15 in.
These games are pretty short, which is surprising.
Yeah, so 2 is the longest of the trilogy by a decent margin, and a lot of that is the backtracking. There's a lot of backtracking in this one, but the levels themselves are a bit smaller, so you spend a lot of time getting intimate with, because they had to make the light version and the dark version, so there's a lot, the actual expanse of it is less, but there's a lot more packed into each level, or each room. And the other thing I was getting to with the combat is there's ammo management now. So there's always been, missiles in these games, and you can run out of missiles, but really, do you ever run out of missiles? Not really. It's just kind of a driving factor. This one, you only get ammo for your light gun by killing enemies with the dark gun, and vice versa. Which is a really interesting mechanic that I'm surprised we haven't seen in more games, because it gives you an incentive to use one weapon over the other, rather than just running through and using whatever you feel like.
Right,
and it gets you creative, because if you run out of ammo, and you're up against an enemy that is only weak to that one ammo, now you gotta use some environmental stuff, you gotta look around for crates, but you don't want to turn your back to the enemy, because then they'll get hit. It's pretty interesting. It's a lot going on, and a lot to keep track of, and the controls don't make it easy, but it's very good, and very satisfying for the entire thing. I entered a zen state the second I got to like the second room in this game, and I didn't leave that state until I rolled credits. It's perfect, almost.
Was this after your you were freed from the work?
No, I played this game months ago, like at the beginning of March. I guess it's not months, but a long time ago. At like the peak of my stress, this was the game that kept me alive. Maybe that's why I like it so
hilarious.
Much. And it is a stressful game, but it's just so... It has such great principles. They just nailed game design with this, and game feel, like we were talking about earlier. Feels great to charge up that gun and just let it rip into a tiny bug or something. And that's another thing, is that Metroid Prime 1 has a killer soundtrack. Like, unbelievable music for that game. This one, the music doesn't quite hit those highs, but it's still fantastic, and the overall presentation is looped in with that. There's parts of this game that genuinely feel kind of scary, and like it's that sci-fi scary where it's like the void, or talking about this lore with like all the dark, the
dark ether.
Yeah, the dark ether, but no, like just the evil, and like the way these dark creatures came to be and everything. And beyond that, I think this might be the best looking GameCube game. I mean, there's a lot of games on GameCube that still hold up because of their art style. I'm thinking, Wind Waker, Thousand Year Door, things like that. But in terms of Nintendo games that were going for a somewhat realistic style, I think this is the best one. I don't know. Do you have any standouts that you think are, like, I should be thinking
Twilight
about?
Princess was on GameCube. And Twilight Princess does look really good. Even when I was a kid, I was like, holy shit. And even now, I'm like, whoa. Let me look up, let's see, Metroid Prime 2. Let me take a gander.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. The game's pretty ugly. But the landscapes and the backgrounds and the world design, not only is the art style just killer, very Alien-inspired, of course, but it has just this nice presentation to it all, that you really get what they were trying to do with each area. So there's several distinct areas. There's like a desert. Everything feels dry. It looks dead. Then there's like a metro city, and it's all sleek chrome with neon everything. And I think they knocked it out of the park, really. And the last thing I think I should touch on is that this game is hard as fuck in some parts. Yeah. And I looked it up because I thought maybe I was just, I don't know. I thought maybe I was tired. I thought the controls were just fucking me up. No, it's very like well known for people who play this game that the bosses in this game are some of the hardest bosses in a Nintendo game. And it's not because they're unfair. They are well designed. Well, some of them I think might be a little unfair, but they're well designed. They're just hard as fuck. I'd be taking like 10 or 20 attempts on some of these bosses.
What?
And, yeah, and it was all like, whenever I would die, I'm like, damn, yeah, I could have jumped there, or I I should have cleared that projectile. I fell off the platform and landed in the goop kind of thing. Like, it was rarely that I couldn't figure it out or that something cheap happened. It has that jank of the time
This is
where
the Dark Souls of the Metroid.
Yeah, it's Dark Souls and Metroid. But it has that good old GameCube PS2 jank where sometimes you just don't know what the fuck you're supposed to do and they don't explain it to you. That's not really what I'm talking about, but once you know what you're supposed to do, it's a high level of execution that you need to get through some of these fights, and it was really impressive. Ironically,
any bosses that I'll remember? Any classic Metroid bosses in this?
I haven't.
Crocomire.
Nah, I haven't played many of the 2D Metroids, so I don't really know if any of them would be recognizable. But I'm gonna look them up real quick. Give you a list.
Kraid. The Kraid.
No Kraid. No Ridley. Actually,
I know one of the first-person ones has Nightmare. Might be other.
I'm gonna look at Metroid Prime 2 bosses, but ironically, Dark Samus kind of the easiest fight. Okay. So yeah, this just, like I said, I played this like almost 2 months ago, so I had to refresh my memory a little bit. Most of these bosses aren't like they aren't standout characters or enemies from the world. These are mostly wholly original because they're this race called the Ing that are from the Dark World, and they have this bug-like design. So the ones that I'm going to read you some names, you probably won't recognize them even if they are from other games that aren't these bug-like ones. We got Amorbis. You know Amorbis? It's a big worm.
Yep, I'm looking at it right now. There he is. Oh, he kind of looks kind of freaky. Okay.
Yeah, we got Chica, Chykka. That was probably the boss that gave me the most trouble. It's like a big bug thing.
Hold on. There's a Morbus and then there's Dark Amorbis.
Well, of course.
This is ridiculous. Who the fuck is Chica?
Chica is this big bug thing, and it is freaky, and it metamorphizes in the middle of the fight. There's a lot of really cool shit in this game. The more I'm talking about it, the more I kind of want to replay it.
I'm just thinking about like Five Nights at Freddy's.
Chica, oh man, I did think about that when it first came up.
I'm looking at it right now. Ooh, it is kind of freaky.
Yeah, so the bosses are really fun, really good. Level design, fantastic. Great platforming, actually. Then, the abilities. They added the fucking screw attack space jump to a first-person game, and it works.
The infinite jump?
Yeah, the infinite, like, screw attack jump. And it actually works. It's a little finicky, but when I saw... So, I didn't look up anything about this game, and when I walked into this room and saw that it was a screw attack, I was like, oh, well, it's probably going to be like, I don't know, when you're in the ball, you can like run into enemies and hurt them or whatever. And then it said, use this ability to jump infinitely across gaps. And I was like, oh. And it really works.
It's not the screw attack without it.
What's that?
It's not the screw attack without it.
Well,
I'd be upset. Yeah. I hate it when they bring back some shit and it's not. It's like, just make it something else, man. Just make it something else.
Yeah. But they had that. They have like the, charge beams and everything. Everything you would come to expect from a Metroid game. They got it all in here. But the other set of upgrades that are unique to Prime are the visors, which in the first one you have like the scanner, and then I think you have one that lets you like X-ray or something. This one,
X-ray visor.
This one, they're all very unique. So you have the dark visor, which lets you see stuff in the dark world while you're in the light world. And I thought that was kind of lame because I was confused as to how I would ever know that I need to put it on, and I'm not just going to walk around with it on all the time because it looks hideous.
Right.
So, but there is this string of puzzles at the end of Metroid Prime 1 that kind of tainted the game for me a little bit. Where at the very, very end of the game, they want you to backtrack through the entire map to pick up these very well-hidden collectibles with very little guidance and almost no clues or hints. And you have to use the certain visors to find them. And it really frustrated me because I didn't want to use a guide, but I really felt that it was beyond obtuse. In this one, they use the lore and the story to give you hints where these things are going to be. They do the same thing. And I guess both because the world is smaller, so it's easier to backtrack, but also because it was pointed out to me in a way that was actually diegetic, I guess, with the story. It felt good and satisfying to find these things rather than just a slog at the very end. And this lore and story stuff is what told you when you needed to equip what visors through like riddles and hints and whatnot. So even though there's a bunch of visors and like the dark visor, I knew when to use them. I wasn't just a random like walk into every room, try every visor, hopefully I'll find something situation that I feel like it could have been. So it never felt boring, it never felt obtuse. It was very good.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of Castlevania 2, the Holy Water. You had to see if there's like any like hidden pitfalls, something like that. It's like a common strategy people do. It's just like constantly throw holy water just for free and just like
I hate that shit. I hate when games make you just find something, and that this took that away. So that was great. Another visor that was pretty interesting was the Echo visor, which lets you see sounds, which is really cool because it's really only used for a few puzzles throughout the game. So they could have easily just had stuff to see in the rooms where the puzzles are, but if you fight any enemy, it has unique sound patterns that you can see. If you go into any room and there's like a machine going and has sound coming out of it, they put a lot of thought and care into it, and it makes it feel worth using it, or worth exploring with it sometimes to try and find some hidden collectibles and whatnot. But it has these really cool puzzles where there's like chimes that you have to hit in a certain order, and you can see how they resonate with the sound visor on, and that's how you unlock doors and stuff. It's pretty interesting. And then I think there was one more visor, but it wasn't. They aren't that crazy. But all these unique upgrades just made the game feel like it was constantly getting something new. There was upgrades for when you're underwater. There's upgrades for whenever you're shooting. There's upgrades for your morph ball. There's upgrades for your suit. You get like 3 different suits throughout this that let you do different things. It's really long.
I love the suits. I love the suits.
And they look cool. They have some weird ones, like very strangely designed ones that I kind of dig how weird they are. They get into some very deep, like religious iconography and storytelling. I'm telling you, the Metroid Prime 1 and 2 are from start to finish like all gas. I can't recommend this game enough. It is fantastic.
Is there Chozo or?
They reference the Chozo, and of course you have the Varia suit and everything. But there is like some deep lore stuff that you can find when you scan about how the Chozo and the Luminoth kind of interacted in the past, and that kind of guided what led to this dark world situation. Everything's connected. Everything is. It is kind of like Souls style storytelling in a way, because you'll find like the end of the story in like the 3rd room, and you're like, okay, no idea what that means. But you keep it in your back of your mind, and eventually the pieces start to come together, and tells a pretty cool narrative, all things considered.
Okay. You know, I was already gonna play it, but now I'm gonna play it even more now.
Yeah, you gotta get on Prime 1, because like I said, Prime 1 is just a notch down from this one. They're neck and neck. And I love both of them so much. I would say that there were a lot of leaks and rumors about Metroid Prime 2 and 3 coming to Switch, so you might want to wait on 2 until then so that you can use normal controls. But Prime 1, you got no excuse, Jonathan. You need to get on that.
I don't believe Nintendo will do that because they are so stingy with their remakes, so I'm just going to play it on the trilogy. I mean,
yeah. Okay, that's the Wii one. I'll probably review Metroid Prime 3. I'm pretty close to finishing it. They changed a lot about it, and I don't want to get into all of it now. I think it's a step down, but I do have to admit the Wii remote controls are significantly better than the GameCube controls. And
what is it? Corruption?
Metroid Prime Corruption, yeah. And it took me so much longer to get used to it. I really didn't like the Wii controls for probably like 4 hours like a decent chunk of the game. That's a long time to feel uncomfortable and like bothered by the controls of a game, especially a first-person game. But eventually it did click, and I do feel like I have a lot more control over like moving and aiming and everything. So I do think it is the best way to play them.
All right. That's good. I like that. I feel so superior that I made the right choice and got in the trilogy.
Yeah. Well, definitely play the remaster if you have that on Switch.
Yes.
Definitely play that version. It is beautiful.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it. And honestly, looking at Metroid Prime 4, I'm like, you just said when they first showed the Metroid Prime 4 trailer, I was like, Halo? What's going on? Because you said something about Halo at the end of Metroid Prime 2, so I was like, ooh.
Metroid Prime 3 is almost certainly Nintendo's response to Halo 2.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure when the timeline of like when they came out. If not Halo 2, then Halo 1. But you can definitely tell that they wanted their Halo. And now I'm thinking Metroid Prime 4 is finally going to realize that vision. Because like I told you, they brought on the Halo 3, Halo 4 campaign designer, one of them, to like do a lot of the consulting and level design work and whatnot for Prime 4.
That's crazy. We're going back to form. If Master Chief won't do it, we will.
Samus will.
It's about time. We need a good Halo game.
Yeah, that's Metroid Prime 2 for you. Play it. Just get over the controls, quit your whining, play these games. They really are worth getting into. All right.
He's so forceful. He's so passionate.
This is the rare Jake game where I don't even care. I get very nervous when I recommend things to people because I don't know if they're gonna like it, and then I'm worried they're gonna think lesser of me. Sounds familiar, but
yeah.
This is one where I'm like, I don't care if you've never played a Metroid game. I don't care if you don't think you would like it. You have to try these games. They are fucking amazing.
That is an objective. He's saying this opinion is not an opinion. It's real,
I don't make the rules.
So.
I don't make the rules.
You're right. You know, I'm with you. I understand.
All right. That's going to wrap up Metroid Prime 2. I want to hear about your last review. And then I'll see if I have time for a little bit of first impressions on my end.
I actually, to be honest with you, I'd rather hear about Blueprints. I see Blueprints is on here. I could talk about Trepang 2. Trepang 2 is not that interesting, unfortunately. It's just like Doom, but if you were shooting people.
Well, that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, it's fine. It's like kind of like a power fantasy, but it really is just because I thought when I was getting into it, I thought it was Fear 4. Because that's what some of the reviews said on Steam, and it kind of has that aesthetic. And then I played it, and I was like, "Oh wait, no, this is Doom. This is just Doom."
Like new Doom or old Doom?
New Doom. Like run around, like don't stop moving, dodge and jump and dodge and jump. It's new Doom.
Yeah, I don't know. I always see Trepang on Steam, and I have no idea what it is. I just know it's a weird title.
It was fun. It's not a second. It's not a sequel. It's like completely normal. It's definitely worth getting it on sale, I would say, but it is not. There's really not that much to talk about. You just have guns and you slide and you go into slow-mo and shoot people and then they blow up, and that's kind of it.
Sometimes that's all you need, man.
Yeah, that is all you need, but unfortunately, it's not very interesting when we have something that I have no idea what the fuck it is and have heard a lot about.
Okay.
What is Blueprints?
So, Blueprints is
I'm looking at it right now. I'm getting a headache.
It is a first-person walking simulator puzzle game deck-building roguelike. Like you said earlier, all the buzzwords. The best way I can describe this using games we've talked about on the podcast is that this is a Gone Home-like mixed with...
What do you mean a Gone Home-like? What?
Like a walking simulator that is clearly made in like a Unity type engine with a flat art style that has a narrative that is kind of deep and might be a horror game, but it's not a horror game. And this is Gone Home. It's like Gone Home, but a lot of the puzzles within the rooms of this. So the pitch. Start at the basics.
That wasn't it?
No, I'm talking like so I can contextualize this. Blueprints, not blueprints like for construction, like Blue the King's Son, is an indie game that just came out about your uncle died and left his mansion to you as your inheritance. But you can only receive your inheritance if you find the secret room in his mansion. And that's the story premise. And so you hop into this game. It's presented very eerily and like kind of strange, and everything's a little bit mystical, like off-putting. And then you just are put into this empty house with no one in it, and you gotta pick up the pieces and figure out what happened and why things are the way that they are, and solve the puzzle. So that's how I'm comparing it to Gone Home. But
Okay.
in Gone Home, a lot of the puzzles are just find a key on the top floor and then unlock the door on the first floor. The puzzles in Blueprints are a lot more puzzly, like a game like The Witness, like Outer Wilds, like trying to think of some puzzle games to compare it to, but you get the idea. It's more of a puzzle game than a walking simulator.
Oh yes, I see. It does seem very involved.
Yeah, like there's a lot of,
and I'm frightened.
Yeah, there's a lot of logic puzzles and riddles. There's a lot of riddles. You gotta love riddles and like ARG type stuff to be into this game. Then I would like to bring us to Deathloop. So there's no combat or anything. Take all the immersive sim elements out of Deathloop, and just the premise of you have to get the perfect day by learning what every room in this mansion does, so that you can know, okay, I have to go from the kitchen to the gymnasium to the pool to the bedroom in this order to get these items to do this thing, and that's how I'm going to solve this overarching puzzle. Then the last thing I'd like to compare it to is something we haven't talked about on the podcast, but I know you know a lot about, is Betrayal at House on the Hill.
Oh man.
The mechanical depth of this game is in you building the mansion using room tiles a la Betrayal, or a legacy game of that ilk, a board game.
Yes,
So
I see.
You have all these room tiles, and you have 50 rooms that you can go to in each run. So it is a roguelike. You have 50 rooms you can go to, and every time you play, it's arranged differently, and the map is different. But you build the map as you go. So you start in a room with 3 doors. When you walk up to one of the doors and click on it, you're presented with 3 options for room tiles that you would like to select there. And you don't get to orient them how you want. They're just how they are. And it's your job. First off, you have to go all the way north to the top of the map. You start at the bottom to get to the antechamber. That's not the secret room, but that's like the first step. So you got to move north. But you don't want to do that thing where you block yourself off, because not every tile has 4 doors. So if you end up with no open doors, the run's over and you're fucked. There's nothing you can do. So you have to strategize how you want to lay out these rooms, geometrically, geographically, to make sure you're making progress and can get as many rooms as possible. But at the same time, you have to manage how many rooms you have left. So I say rooms, but really it's presented as footprints, and it's not like 50 rooms to create. It's every time you walk into a room, you lose one of that 50. And so if you walk all the way to the top of the map, and then you realize that you have to go all the way back to the bottom to get something, you're gonna burn through like 20 of your room steps. So you really got to be.
Sorry. If I know the solution, can I beat the game from the very beginning?
I don't know yet. So I have not finished this game. These are more of my first impressions. I've done probably about 15 runs. And it's not a very long game. I've heard you can roll credits in like 12 hours. That's like where most people do. But there's a lot of stuff to do after the credits roll. There's a lot of secrets and mysteries in this game. And it sounds kind of boring on the surface that it's a roguelite where the main goal is just walking in the most efficient way possible. But it's what happens within each of these rooms combined with the overall map. So like I was saying, you've got to monitor how many rooms you've walked through because you have a certain number of those you can do. But you also have to monitor other resources like your money, which you can use to buy items. You have to monitor how many keys you have, because the further in you get to the run, the more likely it is that the door will be locked, and if you don't have a key, there's nothing you can do about it. And the way you gather these resources and start to create like an engine building situation here, a roguelite system, is each room in itself has a puzzle, for the most part. Some of them are just, this room has 2 doors, and that's the benefit of that tile, is that the doors are aligned the way I want them, so I can use that, but most of them have something to do.
Right.
So it'll have like a small logic puzzle of, there's one that I get all the time that's like, there's 3 boxes that have little messages on them, and one of them is true, one of them is false, and the other one can be whatever it wants to be, and you have to like piece out from these messages which one is going to have the loot in it, and you can only open one. It's that kind of puzzle that we're dealing with. But then, so most of the rooms have something like that, but then you start to see where the depth is, it comes in here. So it's also a deck builder, because you'll get to a room that says, once you place this room tile, add these rooms to the deck. So you can't go to the sauna unless you've gone to the pool first. And if you go to the sauna, you get extra steps the next day, which the next run. So there's a lot of this strategy of, there isn't that much of it in Balatro, but there's some of it where it's like, okay, I need to try and find the observatory now, because if I find the observatory, it's going to let me access this other room, and I need to access that other room because that's where the clue is that I need for this other room's puzzle, that kind of deal. So you'll get, like, certain rooms have these puzzles, but it's not a logic-based thing, it's enter the password. Well, where's the password? Well, I know that the password's on the computer, and there's a computer in the office, and there's a computer in the security room. So I have to find one of those 2 tiles, and I know that the security room is shaped this way, so I can't go over to this side of the map, because if I put that on that side, it'll block me off, and then I'll be fucked. So you see how this starts to build on itself very quickly?
Yes, and I'm starting to get overwhelmed.
Yeah, it is very overwhelming, it's very interesting, and it has even more layers on top of that and underneath that of other things that you can constantly be doing and thinking of. But the beauty of it is that the runs are only like 25 minutes, so if you just go in and let your curiosity guide you of, I'm just gonna place these rooms wherever I feel like and hopefully I find something new, you're probably going to find something new, and that knowledge, not only like how you were talking with Darkest Dungeon, of the knowledge of what this room does is going to help me in the future because now I'll know how to approach the situation. It can also give you things that carry over into the next run, like more steps, like money, like items that you get to carry over into your next run. So you can always gain something, whether that be tangible or in the frame of knowledge from every run. And if you don't gain anything, the game's pretty just fun. It's just fun to play. So I got my eye on this one. I've been playing it, and I think I'm gonna finish it. But I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about this game at the end of the year for a Game of the Year contention.
Ooh, these are 3 big reviews. All of them are like, you gotta play this.
This is a good episode.
This is a good episode for Jake. Well, actually, I'm sorry, you did not say you gotta play Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, but you said that about Darkest Dungeon, so we're only bangers today, and Downwell.
That's true, and Downwell, only bangers today, except for Spider-Man 2.
Well, and Trepang 2.
And Trepang 2.
But this really does strike me as something you would be into. How are you feeling about this? What are your thoughts?
I would not say this is my type of game, especially with a $30 price tag. But
I didn't realize it was that much, but it is on Game Pass. I know that doesn't help you, but it helps me.
Yes, that does not help me. However, if it was like on a dirt cheap sale, yeah, maybe I could pick it up.
Well, it is a solo developer, and I think it's Raw Fury publishing it, so it's gonna be on Super Sale eventually, if probably soon, to be honest with you. So yeah, definitely. And I haven't finished it, I can't say, but for how much complex, thought out mechanics there are in this game, I do think it's worth that price tag. Maybe not right away, I understand, but I just as a general rule of thumb, $30 is a lot for a small game. But when a small game like this can do unique stuff, it's hard to do something unique in gaming nowadays. Everything's kind of been done already. I do think that they earn that price.
$30 for an indie game is a hefty price, but you defend it, so that must mean something.
Yeah, I didn't pay for it though, so I take everything I say with a grain of salt. I actually didn't know it was on Game Pass. I've heard everyone talking about Blueprints for the last 2 weeks. I didn't know it was Blueprints. I thought it was Blueprints the entire time.
Is that why you keep pronouncing it as Blueprints?
That's how do you say it?
Blueprints.
And how do I say it?
I guess you say, okay. I understand now.
You're mapping out the mansion on a blueprint. It's a pun, everyone. Yay, it's a pun. But,
okay. I you just don't put an emphasis on the space.
So
That's why it was confusing.
Prince.
Yes.
I didn't know it was on Game Pass. I actually went on to play another game, and I saw that it was on there, and it was one of those moments of like, well, if you can't beat them, join them. I've heard everyone talking about this game. I guess I have to give it a try, even though it doesn't seem that interesting to me. And then after 2 runs, I was hooked. I was in.
What was that game you were looking for? Was it Oblivion by any chance?
No. It was Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
So true, man. So true. We're gonna have to talk about that one.
We are. It's eating into my Oblivion time. I have been wanting to play more Oblivion, and now I will, because we're gonna be talking about it on the next episode. The long story short here is, it's a great time to be an Xbox gamer right now, especially if you have Game Pass, because Doom is coming out in 3 weeks.
Oh man, I pre-ordered it actually. Can you believe it?
I can't. I actually can, because I'm going to be playing it day one. But we got Doom in 3 weeks. We have Blueprints and Expedition 33 this week. We had Oblivion at the end of last week. It is a great time to have an Xbox. That's all I'm saying.
Why do these games feel like they're coming out of nowhere? I never heard about Blueprints before. I never heard about well, I didn't know Oblivion remake was going to be real, and now it's all coming together. It's like freaking me out. It's like all of a sudden Xbox is getting all the shit. You know what I'm saying?
And then you have to imagine, I mean, we're in April now, right? So June, we're going to get E3 time, and they're going to announce what the rest of the year looks like. We're going to get their new Call of Duty and everything. I don't know. It might be the dominoes might finally be falling for Xbox.
It's time. It's been so long. It's been so long since the 360, man.
Yeah. The whole last generation just felt like, what the fuck are we doing? And now, I things are looking up. Also,
I'm so happy.
All of these games, the cloud syncing works perfectly. The streaming works perfectly. I don't want to get into any console war bullshit, because fuck that, but PlayStation needs to get their shit together, because the way Xbox has been handling all of their backwards compatibility, their cloud, all of that stuff, is so fantastic that it all just works.
They just don't know how to fucking do I don't know. I don't know how anyone is fucking it up still. Steam and Xbox do it perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm. And then we got Nintendo with their virtual game cards.
Dude, I just launched up. My girlfriend started playing Animal Crossing again, and she's like, can I go to your island and get your fruit? And I was like, oh, yeah, of course. I have all the fruit. I launched up Animal Crossing. My island's gone. No idea.
Yeah, you gotta... Did you play Animal Crossing on your other Switch that is now the one Isla uses?
I guess so.
It's not too late.
I didn't back it up.
I don't think it's too late. there's an app you have to download called the Island Transfer Tool, because of course,
I wiped it.
Even though all these games have cloud saves, of course Animal Crossing you have to transfer it, and since you wiped it, it might be a little too late.
With an external tool. Yeah, I wiped I wiped the Switch entirely for her. I gave it to her like it was brand spanking new, so
Yeah.
it's gone.
Yeah,
It's
but I mean that's fine. So restarting Animal Crossing is kind of half the fun anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't. We got to end the podcast, but I kind of want to get this on record because it's getting eating me from the inside. So I pre-ordered Switch 2 and a couple games.
I was gonna ask, did you get it?
Yeah, I did. I had
You
no
did get
problem.
it. Nice.
I had no problem. The pre-orders went live at midnight. I had mine booked, everything in my cart and ready to go by 12:10. I was checked out by 12:12, and it's all coming to me on day one. So
Wow.
I got lucky. But I pre-ordered Mario Kart, Donkey Kong, and Bravely Default, of all things, because I told you I was going to give Bravely Default a chance, and I figured this is a good excuse to do it.
Okay.
Bravely Default and several other Switch 2 launch titles, it even says it right on the box. The game is not on the cartridge. You have to have the cartridge in your Switch to download the game and then play the digital version. And they did that a little bit on Switch, where they were selling empty Switch boxes with a code in it, or they would sell like Mortal Kombat, where it has 2 gigabytes on the cartridge, and then you have to download the rest. This isn't much different than that, but they're acknowledging it now. They even they call it like a key card or something. They don't even call it a game.
I mean, that's what Xbox and PlayStation have been doing. Like, yeah, the disc has like maybe a couple of dozen gigabytes, maybe maximum of the game. But if you want to actually finish downloading the game, you have to download the rest of it online. You can't
that's not really true though. Like almost all of the first party PlayStation games, you can play them without internet connection.
Really?
Yeah, you obviously there's updates and everything, but most of the stuff is on the disc, and you can play a version of the game without ever connecting to the internet.
Well, that's actually quite surprising to me.
That's first party.
That.
That's first party. I don't know how EA and all them are doing it, but and I also don't know how Xbox handles it. They might do more of the key disc things because of the way they handle all the cloud and everything. But for PlayStation, at least, I know a lot of those games are on the disc, but they're lacking the day one patch, which adds a lot of stuff in those games usually.
Usually makes the game playable.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It really rubbed me the wrong way when I saw that. I don't know. I don't like where we're going with this.
Yeah, it's the EMP is gonna eat well.
And the Switch 2 has the Switch 2 and then the Switch 2 bundle with Mario Kart, but it comes with a digital version of Mario Kart, not a physical version.
Yeah. That's not surprising to me.
It's not surprising, but come on.
It is unfortunate. I have the special edition of the Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate 3DS, and that was a download. I don't have it physically.
Yeah, I know they've been doing that for a while, but I don't know. I miss opening a console box and it has the game in there. I don't know, it just felt special.
Me too, but hey, now you can... What is it? It says Nintendo now lets you share downloaded games now.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool with them. Cool. Seems a bit complicated, but
it is a little complicated, but I never thought I'd see the day where I can share a downloaded game.
They're trying to combat reselling, I guess, because they have to have all the money.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking about when you remember when Xbox, the Xbox One was coming out?
Oh man.
And they were like, yeah, you can't play pre-owned games.
Yeah, and then Sony made that video, this is how you share a game on PlayStation. You know
it's just them handing them the... What was the original idea? What would you have to do instead?
You would, if you on Xbox, you would have to... I don't remember if it was going to be done at GameStop or whatever, but you would basically have to unregister the game from your console, and then someone else would have to register it on theirs.
Wow, what a fucking nightmare that would have been.
Yeah.
Thank God that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm. And then, do you remember? Oh my God. Do you remember they were doing that thing where, and I don't think they ever implemented it, but they talked about it, where if you were watching a movie on your Xbox, you would have to have the Kinect on because it would, if you were renting a movie, it would raise the price for how many people were watching the movie, and it would scan for faces in the room.
What?
Yeah.
That is criminal.
Yeah. I think they framed it as like, well, now it's only going to cost $1 to rent a movie, but if you have more people, it might cost closer to that, like $4 or $5 that it normally does. But like, still, that is horrible.
That is
they
so
ever even
fucked.
talked about it.
Imagine that. I would just like buy the movie and have all my friends come in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And be like, what are you gonna do? Charge me extra? Like fuck that shit. That's ridiculous.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to my Switch too. I'm getting a little giddy.
It's gonna be a good time. I'm gonna wait. That's it.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna wait
I figured.
and see when the dust settles. I'll pick it up. But yeah, I'm excited for you. You probably spent like what, $700, $800 on that, all that.
Yeah, yeah. I also got a case and a screen protector.
Oh man, you're gonna be decked out day one.
Yeah, well, it did that thing where
two games.
It's not charging me until it ships, so I'm rich right now. But,
Yeah, that's true. One day you're gonna wake up and the money's gonna be gone. You're gonna go like, what the fuck?
oh man, I'm so excited though. I mean, the launch lineup is so exciting to me. And this is a whole episode unto itself, but not just the Mario and Donkey Kong. We also got Deltarune. We also got Metroid Prime 4 coming at some point. We got the Switch 2 version of Tears of the Kingdom. I'm gonna be gaming my little heart out.
Yeah, I'm the one that I really want is Donkey Kong. I think that one looks like
looks
really
really
up my
cool.
alley.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, I think we should call it there, and we'll
I
be
think
back
so.
to talk some Oblivion.
Wow.
Yep.
Can't believe it. Still.
I'm very interested to see how our playthroughs are going to diverge, and if I'm going to notice anything that's changed in the remake that I wouldn't have known was changed until you tell me.
I don't know. It might just be water cooler talk. We'll have to find out.
Yeah. I mean, that's good too.
Yeah,
All right.
always good.
Well, thanks for coming and listening to us yap about our game reviews for like a couple
Thanks,
hours.
gamers.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.